Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you've ever found yourself literally holding your breath alone in a dark room, well, today is for you. We're diving deep into the absolute masterful mechanics of terror. Because honestly, what actually makes a scary story work? It's really not just jump scares or, excessive gore. It's architecture, it's the pacing, it's pure psychology. Today, we're going to trace the narrative arc of a brilliant, terrifying little piece of text known as the Last Voicemail Script. We'll see exactly how it engineers this completely unbearable suspense, introduces a really uniquely unsettling figure, and then pulls off a final twist that completely recontextualizes everything you just experienced. All right, let's jump right in. Emma, don't. Open the door tonight, please. Right out of the gate, the script just throws us into the absolute deep end. Our protagonist, 19-year-old Emma, is just hanging out on her dorm room bed when she gets this impossible, incredibly distorted voicemail. Notice what's happening here. Before we even know the layout of the room or what the threat even is, we're hit with a muffled sob and this creepy static. It establishes this intense cinematic dread right immediately. It's an auditory hook that grabs your attention and instantly tells your brain, okay, something is already terribly wrong here. Moving on to Section 1, the impossible voicemail and the isolation. So before the actual physical threat even shows up, let's look at how the writer strips away every single safety net Emma has. It's actually brilliant. They combine claustrophobic physical isolation with a total digital dead end. Picture this. It's past midnight in a small, cramped, messy dorm room. Her roommate, Jess, isn't just gone. Her bed is perfectly made, which, just adds this subtle, creeping layer of wrongness to the whole scene. Then Emma gets that chilling voicemail, but when she tries to call the number back, she hits a digital brick wall. This number does not exist. It's the perfect setup. She's completely on her own. No roommate, no trace of the caller, absolutely no help. Next up, Section 2, escalating the dread. So shifting from that creepy audio hook to a very real visual threat, the story does this amazing job of manipulating what we perceive as safe spaces. Look at the terrifying contrast here between Emma's physical reality and her digital one. She spots a weird figure out in the hallway, quickly locks herself in her room, and then, ding! Her laptop signals an incoming video call from Jess. Emma breathes this huge sigh of relief, right? She seeks refuge in that digital connection. But she has no idea that this digital window isn't a rescue at all. It's a trap. She feels temporarily safe talking to her roommate through the screen, completely oblivious to the fact that she is actively being hunted in the real physical world. And that brings us to this absolutely crucial moment. Jess is on the video call and she looks pale, shaking with these wide, glassy eyes. She tells Emma to stay dead quiet. She says the thing has been standing outside her own door for an hour. But then, Jess looks just above her camera. Her whole face drops, her voice breaks, and she delivers this one line. It just went inside your building. Wow, this completely shatters the wall between the unknown threat outside and Emma's immediate locked-in reality. The danger isn't theoretical anymore, it's literally inside the house. What happens next is an absolute masterclass in pacing. I like to call it the squeeze. The writer just methodically tightens the psychological screws, formatting the horror into this clinical, inevitable progression. Step 1, a long, horrible beat of silence, suddenly broken by 3 slow knocks. Step 2, agonizing seconds pass, and then a shadow appears directly under the crack of her door, just standing there. Step 3, the door handle moves, slowly, testing, turning. The pacing here is wild. It leaves you holding your breath right alongside Emma. It's not a cheap jump scare. It's the slow, agonizing realization that a flimsy locked door is the only thing between her and whatever is out there. All right, Section 3, the unsettling figure. Let's talk about how the script uses extreme visual restraint to make this thing so incredibly terrifying. Listen to the text describing the shadow Emma sees. Legs too long, wrong proportions. That's it. That is the entire description. By relying on these sparse, totally unnatural stage directions, the script forces our own brains to do the heavy lifting. It taps right into that primal fear of the uncanny, things that are somewhat human but fundamentally structurally wrong. This kind of restraint builds a monster in our minds that is far scarier than any highly detailed, over-explained creature could ever be. And watch how this tension builds through the physical geography of the threat. Every single time this figure appears, it's defined by impossible placement and just an unnatural stillness. First, Emma spots it way down a flickering, dead-silent hallway. It's completely still, just facing the wall. It doesn't charge at her or anything, it just stands there as the fluorescent light burns out. Later on, it shows up as a tall, motionless shape visible only in the dark reflection of her laptop screen. It's agonizing. It doesn't move like a predator, it's more like a glitch in reality, leaving us constantly wondering when it's finally going to strike. Then comes the ultimate psychological rug pull. The video call is still connected, but Jess's chair on screen is empty. Out of nowhere, Jess's voice whispers from the laptop speakers, barely audible. She says she can see Emma's window from outside. And then she drops this line, "There's someone standing behind you." Emma completely freezes. A tear rolls down her cheek. In that instant, Emma's final illusion of safety is shattered. The locked door was a lie. The digital connection was a lie. The threat was already inside the room with her.
Which brings us to Section 4, the time loop twist.
The climax here doesn't just end with a typical monster attack. No, it completely recontextualizes the dread we've been feeling from the very first sentence. Let's look at the timeline. At midnight, Emma gets that crying, distorted voicemail warning her not to open the door. Over the next 30 minutes, things escalate. She sees the figure, she locks herself in, the handle turns, Jess whispers from the laptop. Finally, Emma turns around to face the shape behind her. Cut to black. We hear a phone hit the floor. And then, we hear Emma's own voice, distorted, recording the exact voicemail that started the whole script. Oh man, it's in this moment we realize the terrifying, inescapable paradox she's trapped in. This right here is the textbook definition of a time loop paradox. Emma's future actions are literally causing the events of her past. The real horror of the story isn't the tall figure with the wrong proportions. The true geep horror is realizing that the initial voicemail wasn't some stranger's warning or a sick prank. It was a futile, desperate plea from her future self, bleeding backward through time, completely unable to stop the nightmare cycle she's locked into. As we wrap up this explainer on suspense and narrative architecture, I really want to leave you with a deeply unsettling thought. Think about the mechanics of this time loop. Emma warns herself not to open the door, right? But earlier in the script, when the shadow is just standing in the hallway, it's Emma who runs inside, slams her door, and locks it. So, you gotta ask yourself, how many times has Emma already lived through this exact dark night? And in this endless loop of terror, is she really running from the shadow? Or is the timeline itself the actual monster? Thanks